Good afternoon, Shola. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon. I'm doing quite well. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
That's great.
I have a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Of course, I don't mind. I've just finished my classes now, so I'm free to answer any questions you would like to ask me.
Great. Is it difficult to teach English to beginner students?
Oh, well, it actually depends on what you mean by beginners. If you're talking about absolute beginners, then I would say that absolute beginners are a hard nut to crack. It's very difficult teaching them in the sense that they come to you, they will be coming to you, without knowing like the alphabets in the English language. They don't know even simple things, basic things like greetings, like hello, hi, goodbye, and so on and so forth. So I would say it's a bit difficult to teach them. But if you're talking about curious beginners that already know some things, then it's not actually difficult teaching them.
I see. That's very interesting. Now, what would you say is the ideal teaching method?
Well, answering that question, I would say that there is no best way of or best method of teaching the English language. I would just say that the most important thing is, number one, is making the approach a student-centered approach. That's number one thing. And the next thing is making it creating a conducive atmosphere for them to practice their English. So throughout the classes, they speak English throughout the classes.
That's very interesting. Now, you've been teaching here for a while, right?
Yeah.
What is your favorite memory made in this university?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I remember one. Let me remember one. I have a couple of them, but the one that I remember very, very well, and it's memorable and it's there to me, is I remember then it was a couple of years back. That was at Semyonovskaya, and it was a tedious, long, tedious day, and we were getting to the end of the session, and I, suddenly felt a little bit under the weather, and my students, they noticed it, and they asked me to sit down, to please sit down, that they were going to organize themselves, and they actually organized themselves. So I sat down and I was watching them, and they did quite well. So that one was there to me, to my heart.
I'm learning English too. Do you have any recommendations?
Oh, well, my recommendation would be that actually you don't need to be in an English speaking country for you to learn and to speak English fluently. So my recommendation would be to make English, to surround yourself with the language, and to make it, a daily life. Like your lifestyle, that is like using the internet, for example, watching podcasts on the internet on a daily basis, writing some things, for example, like your diary, writing it in the English language, and making sure that you practice the language on a daily basis. So that would be my recommendations for you to learn or to better your English language.
I see. Thank you. So, now that you've told us your favorite memory,
Yeah.
What is your least favorite thing about being a teacher?
The least favorite thing about being a teacher is the administrative parts of the work, because it is time consuming, it takes a lot of time, and it is tedious. So that's my least favorite thing of being a teacher.
I see. Now, I have to ask, who is more fun, Russian or English students?
Oh, wow, that's another good question there. The thing is that basically I don't have any favorite, but the thing is that I have many Russian students now, far more than English students that I had in the past. So I would say that both of them are actually good, and it's fun being with both Russian and English students.
I see. Since we brought it up, why did you move to Russia?
Oh, well, that's another interesting question. I believe you know this saying that says that man proposes, but God disposes. Actually, my coming to Russia was an idea of my elder brother. He was the one who encouraged me to come to Russia, and he pushed for my coming to Russia. But now I'm here, and I do like it, being in Russia.
Now, what are some of the difficulties that you encounter as a foreigner living in another country?
Well, That's a long time ago when I just came. The first thing was the language, number one, and then the second thing was the food. It was difficult for me to, initially to get the language and then the food. But as time, passed by, I got used to the language. I learned the language and then the food as well. Now I love Russian cuisine.
Do you have any favorite Russian writer?
Of course, I do have. My favorite Russian writer is number one, is Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin. And then the other one is Lev Tolstoy. And the third one is Dostoevsky.
I see. They're very good writers. Now, final question. Do you have any favorite Russian proverb?
Oh yeah, I have. I think I have like a couple of them. Let me give you this one. This one that says that яйцо курицы не учит, и в чужой монастырь со своим уставом не ходит. So this one, and then I have another one that students usually say at the end of the classes when I ask them that, for example, do you have any questions? And they usually tell me that у матросов нет вопросов.
I see. Very good. Thank you for answering my questions.
You're welcome.
See you later.